All right. So I saw the first Iron Man movie, the first Marvel movie. Well, the first MCU movie. It's more accurate. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, who's ever watching. I am having a lot of fun watching these with my mom because she doesn't know anything. So it's really fun, like watching these movies with her and then like getting her opinion on these movies and like how much she's really enjoying these. And I will get to that in a bit. I gotta stick to my notes. Okay. So I like this movie because this is early 2000s, no late 2000s. Okay, so like it's a very different superhero from like the 2000s movies. You know, like I felt like this movie was really grounded in reality. And remember when it first came out, it didn't fall under my radar. Like I didn't notice it. Like I saw it, but that just didn't catch my attention. I remember my brother he bought the movie on Taco Dollar, which doesn't. Well, I mean, it's not on my block. It used to sell movies, and he bought it there, and he was super excited to watch it. He didn't know what he was watching. I'm pretty sure he didn't even finish it. I'm pretty sure if you were to ask him, he wouldn't remember watching it. But I remember he bought the movie, and he was excited, and he put it on. And I remember being 8. I remember watching the Humvees. This is late. This is like 12, 1. And I was 8, so that's really late for me. Um, I saw the Humvees and I thought this is boring, and I knocked out. And yeah, so I didn't. I know a lot of people have seen Iron Man in theaters, and it's just I envy those people. Like I wish I could have seen the first Iron movie in theaters. I didn't. I didn't see like the first 5 Phase 1 movies in theaters. At the point though. I think it was my notes. I thought about putting on my notes, but then I decided not to. But then I thought I'd talk about it. Anyways, yeah, so that's my earliest memory of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it sucks that it was just so, like... But anyways, back to the movie. Yeah, so I feel like that's why I didn't really catch my attention because I was 8. And that was, like, my attention span at 8 years old was very short and, like oh, colors or whatever, you know? Sorry, I got a text. And yeah, so I remember watching them like watching the first Iron movie, I'm gonna put my phone. I'm so sorry. I remember watching all of the movies leading up to Avengers. I kind of thought Iron Man movie was a little boring and lame. But looking back at it now, I'm like, this movie, like, it holds up. It's really, really good. And I feel like a part of that now is that I've obviously grown a lot, hopefully. Not too much. Well, hopefully enough. I've grown enough to the point where I watched the movie and I appreciate it for what it is. So, I know, what really, I haven't seen all of the 2000 superhero movies. I've just seen, Fantastic Four and Spider-Man. I didn't even see Daredevil when it came out, or I haven't even seen Daredevil. I've seen chunks of it. Not the point though. But I felt like this movie, in comparison to all the other movies, is very different because Tony Stark didn't become a superhero overnight. You know, like there was no spider bite, there was no cosmic rays. You know, he had I felt like a big chunk of the movie was him building his suits and upgrading them, and him test trials, you know? And I felt like that's such a good, character aspect, or like a good way to see the character and to show oh yeah, he can die easily, it takes up a lot of work for him to get to where he's at, but once he gets to where he's at, he's top tier. Realize I'm getting out of light. That's better. Right. So I thought that was pretty awesome. Like right now, recently, I've seen this movie a few times, like a few years ago, and I thought it held up. But right now, really thinking about it to talk about for these videos, I was like, I think that's really awesome and that's really great that they took the whole typical hero montage suit scene, because I know in Spider-Man, you have that quick montage of him making the suit and a few sketches, and bam, it's there in 2-3 minutes. And for the Fantastic Four, he just had them there, and it's a quick explanation. And yeah, but for Iron Man, it really shows the whole him like making the suit and seeing what works and what doesn't and saying I need to fix this, you know. So I thought that was pretty cool, and that like it really emphasizes just how human Tony Stark is and just how like intelligent he is, you know. And so I thought that was pretty cool. Right, different from other heroes. Secret Identity, right? Secret Identity. I know in recent interviews of like not interviews, but Kevin Feige, he mentioned that the scene with him saying "I am Iron Man," with him revealing his secret identity, was like not scripted. And you know, looking back, sorry, and looking back at it, like you'd think it was part of the part of the script, because you know Iron Man is already so different from these heroes in 2008, that they would be like, well, why not take it a step further? But then watching it again and with this in mind, I was like, it kind of makes sense that they wanted to keep his identity secret, because when he's Iron Man, he doesn't talk a lot, but when he does talk, like his voice is different, and he never lifts up his face mask. You know, it never comes up. It always comes down, and it only comes off when he's like hidden. You know, so I feel like they were just kind of like trying to stay true to that element. But yeah, I just kind of thought that was interesting how they originally were going to keep his identity a secret, but then ultimately they were like, let's just not. Let's take it a step further, which I think has been a big key of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, none of the heroes have a secret identity, at least not anymore. Like the last one that had a secret identity was Spider-Man, but that went out the window, which I feel like it's such a... My bad, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm trying to look at them all Avengers to see who has a secret identity, but none of them do. None of them do. They either... No. Right, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I feel like that's such a main, like, notable thing of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that none of the heroes have a secret identity, which I feel like is going to be interesting for the Fantastic Four when they do come in, because one of the things that made the Fantastic Four so like iconic in the comics was that none of them had secret identities. They all knew, like, everybody knew who they were, you know. And I feel like that's what kind of made them stand out from the rest of the heroes. So I feel like it'll be interesting to see how the Fantastic Four stand out with their not secret identities in a world of heroes where none of them have secret identities. So yeah, so that's me talking about the movie. Really, I've realized most of these videos aren't me reviewing the movie, but just talking about the movie. I feel like reviews a bit misleading, and I keep forgetting to mention I'm going to be talking about spoilers about the movie and stuff like that, so I should keep fixing that. I always keep forgetting. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Things that I didn't like about the movie. I don't know. I don't really think there's anything to it. It was a pretty solid superhero movie. It was a really solid movie to begin with. Like, it's structured well, you know. It kind of it wasn't dark, but like it showed a darker side of like the world, I guess. Not the world, just it had a small dark element with like the whole terrorists and like, you know, companies selling their weapons under the table and stuff like that, and like the repercussions and then just not dealing with it. So I thought that was like a nice touch to it, you know, like I felt like the Marvel Cinematic Universe had a certain path, but then I think Disney bought Marvel and they just kind of took it another path, which I think still works, you know. Like, they wanted these movies to be really grounded, but then they just kind of got more wild and wild as they kept making more movies, which is great because that's how it is in the comics. It's like everything's out the window, you know. Nothing ever is, you know, normal, quote unquote. You know, like a dragon. There's a Fin Fang Foom's a dragon. I think he's gonna come out, but that's not the point. Yeah, I don't really think I have anything bad to say about the movie. I miss Jarvis. Jarvis is so cool, man. He's such a great AI and a butler in the show. But anyways, moving on. We're talking about my mom's opinions on the movie. Alright, so far, she really likes these 3 movies. I know I've... sorry. I know I was talking to her the other day about like what she liked about the first two movies, Captain America and Captain Marvel, and she said what she liked about them was like how in the beginning of the movie they both start off weak. Steve Rogers starts off physically weak, and Carol Danvers starts off mentally weak, and that because they wanted to do like they wanted to be genuinely good people, that's what kind of like gave them these great powers, and that's what kind of made them into superheroes. So she thought that was awesome, and she really liked that aspect of Captain America, Captain Marvel. And I asked her what her favorite was out of the two, and she says that she couldn't pick out a favorite just yet. Sorry, said she couldn't pick out a favorite just yet, but she did say that out of the two of them, the one with the saddest story is Captain America. So sorry. It was Captain America because he was keep in mind this is just the first Captain America movie. She doesn't know what happens in Endgame. Right. So it's super sad for him because he's frozen in ice. Like one day passes for him, but 70 years pass. Everybody he knows is dead. His best friend was killed. The scientist that was his mentor that gave him the powers, that was the only person who believed in him, was killed right in front of him, and he couldn't stop him. He couldn't stop the person that killed him. And he just wanted to do like genuinely good, and he never thought about himself a single moment during the movie, even when it came to like him sacrificing his life. And so she thought that was sad that he has such a tragic story. And I asked her once we finished this movie, Ironman, I asked her what her thoughts were on the movie. So we just had like a whole conversation. So we just finished it, and I just came here because it's so cool. I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying these movies. I'm really excited for all the other movies to watch with her. It's so cool. Anyways, not the point yet. I asked her what her thoughts were on the movie, and she said that Tony Stark is so different from the first two heroes because throughout like his entire life he's always had quote unquote power, like he was rich, he's famous, he was well known, he was smart, so she said he was different in that aspect, in the sense where he's always had power, and he was like this really big jerk at the beginning of the movie. And she also said that once he was captured by the terrorists, and like once he became like a superhero, she thought, this is what she told me. She told me it's what is it? It's a beautiful thing to see somebody's mind change, like somebody's life morals, because obviously in the beginning of the movie he doesn't care for people, but then by the end he's like sacrificing himself. So she thought that was nice, and that's what kind of made him different, was the fact that he always had power, and that he saw what it did, and he got more power, and he used it to help other people. So it kind of comes down, I feel like superheroes, it always comes down to the Stan Lee quote, with great power there must also come great responsibility, which is like with Captain America, Captain Marvel, and Iron Man, it's just the decision to be responsible with that power. And I sorry, hold on. Yeah. And I'm asking her about like all these other movies, if she sees them in like interconnecting, and she got really excited when she saw Nick Fury show up in the end credit scene for Iron Man. She was like, "Oh, hey, that's the dude from the other movie," because she saw Nick Fury had an eye patch and he had like the trench coat, so she recognized him more from the end credit scene of Captain America. She kind of figured it was him from Captain Marvel, but she was like, "Oh, that's like he was in the other movie," and I was like, "Yeah, like they're all going to meet up." And I was telling her when I was talking to her like a few days ago, I told her that they all meet up and it all leads up to something bigger. And so she told me she was really excited to see like what it all leads up to. And when I was talking to her just today, I was like, "Oh, so you're really excited for them to meet up, aren't you?" And she's like, "Yeah, like I am pretty excited for them to meet each other, to see like how they interact." And like she said, what she's really looking forward to the most is that if one person, like from these three movies, if one person can do that much good, imagine how much good all of them can do together. So I thought that was really interesting because I had never thought about it that way. I always thought of them like, oh, the interactions. That's what I always looked forward to. But the fact that she kind of sees it as like, oh, just how much good they can really do or be, was an interesting aspect that I never thought of. And so yeah, so far she's really liked the three movies. She's really excited to see them all meet up, which is in another 4 movies. Yeah, 4 movies, and she's like really liking how they're all like interconnecting so far. And she got kind of excited when she saw Agent Coulson, so I thought that was awesome because Agent Coulson's awesome, but she doesn't know he dies. So yeah, I don't know if she can hear me. She's cooking right now. But yeah, once again, if you have any suggestions, suggest them. If you have any questions about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, feel free to ask them. I can probably, most likely, answer them. If you have any questions about timeline, feel free to ask me as well. For suggestions, if you're not liking me talking about my mom liking the movies, that stays. I'm not changing that. That stays. This is awesome. I'm loving this. Yeah, I'm gonna try to wear a shirt for every Marvel movie that like corresponds. I'm not gonna explain the shirt. Actually, I am. Originally, the end credit scene for Iron Man was supposed to talk about, I believe, mutants and Spider-Man. Iron Man's here. So, that's why I'm wearing this shirt. I sport the Stanley shirt with Captain Marvel because of the Marvel intro logo. Then I wore the shirt with, like, the god-awful quality Captain America toy, which I think is totally awesome, and I would spend, like, $30 on a cheap quality toy. But anyways, I realize I'm talking too much, and I'm done talking about the movie. And that is it. Hopefully, we will probably watch Iron Man 2 tonight. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. I'm really excited for her to see Avengers and Endgame. Or just all of them. Yeah.